Hi everyone, welcome back to Voice of English. Today's message is not just about earning money. It is about your mindset, your beliefs, and how your thoughts shape your financial future. Let me ask you something simple. Before you try to earn more money, have you ever asked yourself one honest question? What do I truly believe about money? Because your beliefs control your decisions. Your decisions control your actions. And your actions control your results. If you believe money is evil, you will push it away. If you believe success is only for lucky people, you will wait instead of work. If you believe you are not capable, you will never discover your true potential. Adam's story begins not with money, but with awareness. Awareness of the beliefs that were quietly limiting him. Part 1. The Invisible Walls of Belief. Adam grew up surrounded by repeated messages about money, messages that seemed harmless at first, but slowly planted seeds of limitation in his mind. Phrases like, "Money is the root of all evil," "Rich people are greedy," "Only lucky people succeed," "People like us cannot become rich." At first, these words felt normal, almost like common sense. He never questioned them. They were repeated at home, in school, and even in casual conversations. They seemed to explain why some people had wealth and others did not. But over time, they hardened into something far more dangerous than advice. They became invisible walls inside his mind. Walls he could not see, but that quietly restricted every choice he made. One day, while walking home from work, Adam began to notice something unsettling. Every time he saw a successful person, a business owner with a thriving shop, a skilled professional carrying themselves confidently, he felt a strange mix of discomfort and defensiveness. His first thought was not admiration. It was judgment. They must be lucky, he told himself. They probably had help. That's why they are successful. It was not confidence or inspiration he felt. It was protection. Protection from disappointment. Protection from admitting a hidden truth. That maybe he could have more too. The walls of belief were working perfectly. They were keeping him safe from the pain of trying and failing, but they were also keeping him trapped in mediocrity. Among all his limiting beliefs, one stood out as the most powerful. Money is only for special people. Rich people, Adam thought, were not just fortunate, they were different, smarter, more talented, more connected, extraordinary. And Adam, he was ordinary, average, normal. The logical conclusion? Ordinary people stay ordinary. He internalized this so deeply that he barely realized it was a choice he had unconsciously made. Fear soon became his constant companion. Fear of failing publicly. Fear of being judged by others. Fear of stepping into a world where he might not measure up. Fear of trying something new, because failure seemed like confirmation that he was ordinary, and that ordinary people could not succeed. And because fear dictated his decisions, inaction followed naturally. Instead of experimenting, learning, or taking risks, Adam stayed in the safety of his routine, where the unknown did not exist and mistakes were minimized. His comfort zone became a double-edged sword. On the surface, it provided stability. He had a job, a steady salary, and a predictable routine. But underneath, frustration grew quietly like a weed. His dreams whispered in the back of his mind, but the walls of belief muffled their sound. He felt stuck, trapped in a life that felt familiar but unfulfilling. Comfort is deceptive. It feels safe, warm, and easy. But it is a prison if you mistake it for security. Growth, progress, and transformation never come from comfort zones. They come from stepping beyond what is familiar and safe. from challenging the invisible walls of belief that we allow to define what is possible. Adam's first lesson, though he did not yet realize it, was this: your mindset can be your greatest ally or your most ruthless jailer. And until he began to question the beliefs that limited him, fear and inaction would remain his companions, and his life would remain a reflection of those invisible walls. Part 2. The Turning Point. Awareness. One ordinary afternoon, Adam found himself in a small, quiet tea shop, the kind where the aroma of brewing chai mixes with the soft chatter of locals. The day had been like many others: long hours at work, endless tasks, and the gnawing frustration of feeling stuck. As he stirred his tea absent-mindedly, he noticed an older man sitting at a nearby table. There was something different about him, an air of calm, confidence, and respect that drew attention without demanding it. People seemed to listen when he spoke, even in passing. Curiosity, or perhaps intuition, made the older man lean slightly toward Adam and ask gently, almost as if reading his thoughts, "Why do you look so frustrated?" Adam blinked, caught off guard. He wasn't used to strangers noticing his inner struggle. Without thinking much, he confessed, "I work hard, but I never seem to earn enough. Money feels so difficult, like it's always just out of reach." The older man smiled, not with pity, but with understanding, and spoke with a simplicity that made Adam pause. "Money is not difficult. Value is rare. If you create value, you receive reward. If you solve problems, you earn money. If you improve your skills, your income improves. Money follows value." The words struck Adam like a lightning bolt. He had spent years thinking about money as something elusive, almost magical, reserved for the lucky or the connected. He had blamed circumstance, talent, and luck, but never himself. He had never considered that money was not about luck or special privilege, but about usefulness, about solving problems that people cared enough to pay for. For the first time in years, Adam asked a different question. Not, "Why don't I earn more?" Not, "Why is money so hard for people like me?" But, "How can I become more valuable?" That single shift in perspective felt revolutionary. It was like a door had been quietly unlocked in his mind. Suddenly, the invisible walls he had built around himself, the beliefs that money was only for special people, that success required extraordinary luck, that ordinary people must remain ordinary, began to feel permeable. They were no longer solid barriers, but challenges to be understood, dismantled, and rebuilt. Adam began to see his life in a new light. Every skill he had learned, every task he had completed, every problem he had solved, these were all forms of value. But he realized there was more he could do. He could improve his skills, learn faster, and help more people. He could solve problems others couldn't. He could position himself as someone indispensable. Value, he understood now, was not just about working harder. It was about being useful in a way that others recognized and rewarded. The older man's words echoed in his mind long after he left the tea shop. Adam could feel the heavy weight of frustration lifting slightly, replaced by curiosity and determination. For the first time, the path forward felt actionable. Money was no longer a distant, uncatchable prize. It was a natural consequence of becoming valuable. That moment marked the turning point. Awareness had replaced confusion. Insight had replaced fear. Adam realized something profound. Earning more was never about luck or entitlement. It was about usefulness, skill, and problem solving. And for the first time, he felt empowered, not trapped. He left the tea shop with a new question guiding him. What can I learn? What can I improve? How can I create value today? For Adam, that ordinary afternoon was anything but ordinary. It was the day his mindset began to shift. The day he stopped blaming luck and circumstance. The day he started seeing the invisible walls of limitation for what they truly were, and began planning to break them. Part 3, Investing in Yourself. Adam made a decision that would quietly but profoundly change his life. He would invest in himself. Not in flashy clothes, expensive gadgets, or shortcuts that promised quick wealth. Not in appearances or temporary status symbols. He realized that true growth, lasting wealth, and freedom would come from building himself, from the inside out. He began with skills. Communication had always been a weakness, and he knew it limited his opportunities. He committed to reading, speaking, and practicing every single day. English, once intimidating, became a daily challenge. Every new word, every conversation, every sentence he wrote or spoke felt like laying a brick in a foundation that would carry him forward. Next came practical, high-demand skills. He learned digital tools, design principles, freelancing strategies, and problem-solving techniques. Each skill added a layer of usefulness. Each new ability was a way to serve others, solve problems, and create value. Adam understood that knowledge without application was wasted. Learning had to translate into action. But knowledge alone wasn't enough. He needed discipline, consistency, and habits that would compound over time. So he built a daily routine designed not for instant gratification, but for long-term growth. Wake up early to start the day with focus and intention. Study 1 hour, a deep dive into new concepts and skills. Practice one skill, deliberate practice, repeat it until mastery grew. Read 10 pages to feed his mind with ideas, perspective, and strategies. Reflect before sleeping to analyze the day, celebrate wins, and plan improvements. These were small, repeated actions, almost invisible to the casual observer, but they created monumental change over time. Rejection at work became feedback. Failure in projects became instruction. Entertainment, once a mindless escape, transformed into training. Videos, podcasts, and books became fuel for growth. Adam realized a crucial truth. Time, more than money, was the ultimate investment. Money could be earned, lost, or spent foolishly. But time, once used, could never be reclaimed. Every hour spent learning, practicing, and reflecting was an hour that compounded into skill, confidence, and opportunity. Every wasted hour, conversely, was lost forever. He also learned patience. True investment in yourself is rarely glamorous or instant. It is slow, incremental, and often invisible. But like water carving stone, small, consistent actions shape extraordinary outcomes. With each day, Adam's confidence grew. He could see tangible improvement, not only in skills but in mindset. He was no longer the man who feared luck or envied others. He was a man growing, learning, and becoming valuable. By the end of his first year of self-investment, Adam had transformed quietly but profoundly. His skills attracted opportunities. His discipline built resilience. His knowledge created confidence. What was once impossible began to feel natural. And the best part? The more he invested in himself, the more doors opened. Not because he chased money, but because value attracts reward. Adam understood now. Investing in yourself is not a cost. It is the only investment that never fails. Money can come and go. Status can fade. Skills, knowledge, habits, and mindset, these remain. They build leverage, freedom, and opportunity. They create a life that is unstoppable, unshakable, and truly yours. From that point forward, Adam's focus was clear. Grow yourself first, and everything else, income, opportunities, freedom, would follow naturally. Part 4. Action Transforms. After months of preparation, Adam reached a moment he had both dreaded and anticipated: sending his first freelance proposal. For weeks, he had studied, practiced, and polished his skills. He had built routines, learned digital tools, improved his communication, and reflected on his progress daily. Yet when the moment arrived, doubt crept in like a shadow. What if I fail? His mind whispered. What if they reject me? What if I'm not good enough? The questions were endless. But Adam remembered the lesson that had become his mantra. Preparation plus action equals results. He took a deep breath, reminded himself of the skills he had built, and hit send. At first, there was silence. Days passed. The uncertainty felt heavier than any exam or interview he had faced before. Then came the first email. A rejection. Adam felt the old sting of disappointment, that familiar twinge of fear. But instead of giving up, he reminded himself that rejection was not a verdict. It was feedback. Each no pointed toward refinement, adjustment, and persistence. Then came success. A small project, a modest payment. But the value of that moment was monumental. For the first time, Adam saw concrete evidence that his skills had worth, that his effort truly mattered. He had transformed abstract preparation into tangible results. The small project was not just income. It was proof that he could create opportunity, that courage could overcome hesitation, and that action could shatter the invisible walls of fear. Adam's mindset began to shift. Fear no longer held the same power. It had been replaced by a quiet confidence born from preparation and action. He understood now that success does not arrive passively. It is built. Waiting for the right moment, waiting for luck, or waiting for permission was futile. Growth, opportunity, and income came to those who acted consistently, intelligently, and boldly. Over the following months, Adam scaled his efforts. Each proposal he sent, each project he completed, reinforced a cycle of growth. Preparation, action, feedback, improvement, and success. Small wins compounded into larger wins. His skills grew sharper, his confidence steadier, and his mindset more resilient. He no longer measured his worth by luck or circumstance, but by the value he could create through action. He also learned a deeper truth. Action transforms not just results, but identity. With every step he took, he became a different person. Someone capable, reliable, and worthy of success. Fear became a signal, not a barrier. Rejection became information, not defeat. Every action reinforced the belief that he could shape his own destiny. By taking action, Adam stopped waiting for the world to recognize his potential. Instead, he built it himself. Small decisions, repeated over time, created unstoppable momentum. Every project completed, every skill applied, every proposal sent was a brick in the foundation of a new life, one defined by courage, persistence, and the knowledge that fortune favors those who act. Adam realized something crucial. Knowledge and preparation are the seeds. Action is the water that makes them grow. Without action, potential remains invisible. Without courage, skills gather dust. But when preparation meets action, transformation is inevitable. And from that point forward, Adam no longer asked, "What if I fail?" He asked, "What can I create today?" Fear had faded. Waiting had ended. Action had transformed him. and his life had begun. Part 5: Multiple Paths to Income. Adam's journey had taught him a fundamental truth. Money is a reflection of value, not luck or effort alone. But as he progressed, he realized that value could be expressed in many different ways, and each path offered opportunities to earn, grow, and make a difference. First, there were skills. Adam had spent months mastering communication, digital tools, and problem solving. Skills were powerful because they solved problems efficiently. Whether it was designing a website, writing compelling content, or managing a project, specialized abilities allowed Adam to provide solutions that people were willing to pay for. The more he refined his skills, the more valuable he became. Skills opened doors to clients, jobs, and collaborations he had never imagined when he had first doubted himself. Next came service. Adam learned that being reliable, consistent, and genuinely helpful created trust. Clients returned not just for the work itself, but for the confidence that he would deliver, consistently, every time. He discovered that a reputation for dependability and integrity often mattered more than technical expertise. People pay for outcomes, but they invest in people they trust. Service, Adam realized, was the bridge between skill and opportunity. Adam also explored business. Here, the principle shifted slightly. Leverage. One person could serve only so many clients, solve only so many problems. But by building systems, processes, and teams, he could multiply his impact and his income. He learned that entrepreneurship was not about shortcuts or luck. It was about creating frameworks where value could be delivered consistently at scale. Leadership, planning, and systems thinking became new skills he invested in, allowing him to turn small efforts into much larger results. The digital world opened another dimension: online work. Freelancing, content creation, online teaching, and digital solutions gave Adam access to global opportunities. Geography no longer limited him. A client across the world could pay him for his expertise just as easily as someone down the street. He realized that online work rewarded creativity, skill, and initiative. It also required discipline, consistency, and adaptability, qualities Adam had been cultivating all along. Yet despite the variety of paths, one principle united them all. Money follows value, not effort alone. Long hours or hard work without usefulness yielded little, but targeted, skillful action that solved problems or improved lives created reward. Value was the currency. Effort alone was only the fuel. Adam also learned a second critical truth. Consistency beats intensity. One day of heroic effort could not replace daily steady progress. Small improvements repeated over time compounded into results far greater than sporadic bursts of work. He tracked his habits, refined his routines, and stayed disciplined even on days he felt unmotivated. Incremental growth became unstoppable momentum. By embracing multiple paths, Adam discovered freedom. He was no longer dependent on a single job, a single client, or a single source of income. He diversified his skills, services, and channels. He invested in himself daily. Each small success reinforced the principle that value could be created in many ways. And that opportunity always exists for those willing to act. Ultimately, Adam understood that earning money is not about chasing luck. It's about creating value in as many forms as possible, consistently, every day. Skills, service, business, and online work were just vehicles. What mattered was the mindset, seeing problems, developing solutions, and delivering value. With this realization, Adam's journey came full circle. The invisible walls of limiting beliefs that had once held him back were gone. Fear had been replaced with action. Knowledge had transformed into skill. Effort had become consistent progress. And most importantly, Adam had unlocked a simple but profound truth. There are countless paths to income, but all begin with creating value. Part 6. The Mindset Shift. By now, Adam's journey had transformed more than just his skills and income. It had transformed his mind. The person who once feared money, doubted himself, and envied the success of others was gone. In his place was someone who understood a profound truth. Money is a result of value, not a goal in itself. Adam no longer chased money. He had stopped measuring success by the numbers in his bank account or the applause of others. Instead, he focused on becoming someone who naturally attracted money because of the value he provided. Every skill he honed, every problem he solved, every client he helped was a step toward becoming a person whose presence alone generated opportunities. Money followed naturally, not as a pursuit, but as a byproduct of usefulness. He replaced fear with learning. Where he once hesitated, worried about failure or judgment, Adam now asked questions, sought advice, and embraced challenges. Failure was no longer a verdict on his worth. It was feedback, a teacher guiding him toward improvement. Every rejection, mistake, and misstep became a lesson, not a reason to retreat. Fear had lost its power because he had armed himself with knowledge, preparation, and curiosity. Jealousy, once a silent companion, was replaced with inspiration. Instead of comparing himself to those who had more, Adam studied them. He asked, "What can I learn from their journey? What principles made them successful?" Admiration replaced envy. The success of others no longer diminished him, it fueled him. He realized that someone else's win did not take away his chance to succeed. It illuminated what was possible if he persisted. Excuses fell away, replaced by responsibility. No longer did Adam blame circumstances, luck, or the limitations of his environment. He accepted that he controlled his daily actions, his learning, and his choices. Responsibility empowered him. Every hour spent learning a skill, reflecting on progress, or taking initiative was his personal investment in the future. The past no longer defined him. Only what he did today mattered. He prioritized discipline over motivation. Motivation was fleeting, a spark that could vanish with a bad day or a small setback. Discipline, however, was steady, reliable, and self-reinforcing. Waking early, practicing his skills, reflecting on growth, and maintaining consistency became non-negotiable. Discipline created momentum, and momentum created results. Motivation became a bonus, but discipline became the engine driving his progress. Adam also chose long-term growth over quick wins. He no longer sought shortcuts or instant gratification. Every step he took was part of a broader vision. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, he understood that the compounding effect of small, consistent improvements far outweighed a single temporary success. Quick wins were distractions. Real achievement required patience, persistence, and time. Contribution replaced ego. Adam measured success not by recognition or status, but by how much he could serve, improve, or solve problems for others. He realized that the more he gave value through his skills, knowledge, and service, the more doors opened. Ego no longer dictated decisions. Usefulness did. Helping others, solving real problems, and creating meaningful outcomes became his guiding principle. Most importantly, Adam's goal changed. He no longer asked, "How much can I earn this month?" Instead, he asked, "Who do I want to become in 5 years?" The focus shifted from external results to internal evolution. His real competition was no longer other people. It was his past self. Each day, he aimed to learn a new skill, improve an existing one, or provide greater value than he did yesterday. Every small improvement repeated daily became the foundation for extraordinary growth. Adam had unlocked the most powerful secret of all. Success begins in the mind before it appears in reality. By transforming his mindset, by embracing discipline, responsibility, learning, and contribution, he created an internal gravity that naturally attracted opportunities, income, and growth. Money, recognition, and success were no longer the goal. They were the natural outcome of the person he was becoming. In this new mindset, life became a series of deliberate choices, each aligned with growth, value, and purpose. Fear, jealousy, and excuses no longer held power. Each day was a chance to become slightly better, slightly more useful, slightly more aligned with his long-term vision. Adam understood now that the mind shapes the life, and by mastering it, he had mastered the ability to shape his future. Part 7. The True Way to Earn Money. Adam's journey, from fear and frustration to skill and confidence, had revealed a truth that changed everything. Money is not something you chase. It is something you attract. It is attracted by value, skill, discipline, and consistency. Every action, every habit, every choice to grow created a magnet that naturally drew opportunities, income, and success toward him. He realized that many people spend their lives chasing money the wrong way. They hope for luck, shortcuts, quick fixes, or opportunities that fall from the sky. Some follow the crowd, copying what everyone else is doing, expecting the results to magically appear. But Adam learned that none of these approaches work consistently. They may bring temporary gains, but they do not build lasting wealth or freedom. The real way to earn money, he understood, is to become valuable. Value is not a vague concept, it is tangible. It is the ability to solve problems, to create solutions, to improve lives, and to make processes easier or more efficient. The person who can consistently provide value is the person who will always be rewarded. Money is simply the measurement of that reward. Adam also realized that skill is the currency of the modern world. The more skilled you are, the more problems you can solve, and the more people depend on you. Skills are transferable, scalable, and timeless. Whether it was mastering digital tools, improving communication, or learning business strategy, every skill he acquired increased his capacity to generate income. Each new skill was like adding another arrow to his quiver, increasing both his confidence and his earning potential. But skill alone was not enough. Adam understood the importance of discipline. Discipline is what bridges the gap between knowledge and results. It is easy to read books, watch tutorials, or attend seminars, but without consistent application, knowledge remains useless. Discipline allowed Adam to wake up early, practice daily, follow through on commitments, and build momentum over time. Every small, disciplined action compounded into measurable growth. Consistency was the final piece of the puzzle. He learned that results are not created by bursts of effort. They are created by daily, repeated actions. A single productive day or one successful project is encouraging, but it does not build lasting financial stability. Consistent, focused action, repeated over months and years, creates the kind of compounding growth that turns small efforts into extraordinary results. Small improvements, done consistently, become mastery. Mastery creates influence. Influence creates income. Adam also recognized a subtle but powerful truth. Your past, your background, and your current income do not define your future. What limits most people is not circumstance, it is belief. Limiting beliefs such as, I am not talented enough, I was born poor, or I don't have connections, act like invisible walls that prevent action. By challenging these beliefs and replacing them with empowering truths, Adam removed the barriers that once held him back. Ultimately, Adam understood that money is a reflection of who you become. It is not the starting point, it is the outcome. The more he grew, the more he contributed, and the more value he provided, the more money followed naturally. Success was not about chasing wealth. It was about becoming a person who naturally deserves it. He realized that the true path to earning money is not measured by luck, shortcuts, or external circumstances. It is measured by growth, contribution, and becoming someone whose value cannot be ignored. Every skill mastered, every problem solved, every life improved, and every day of disciplined action increased his capacity to earn. Wealth, in this sense, was not a goal. It was the consequence of becoming remarkable. In the end, Adam's journey showed him a universal principle that applies to anyone. If you focus on becoming valuable, earning money is inevitable. If you focus on chasing money without creating value, it will always feel just out of reach. The difference is the mindset. The difference is the willingness to grow, to serve, and to act consistently. Money, Adam realized, is never the problem. The problem is how people approach it. And by shifting his mindset, embracing growth, mastering skills, applying discipline, and contributing consistently, he discovered the ultimate truth. To earn money, become someone worth paying, and everything else follows. Final message. Build value, not just income. Let me leave you with something truly powerful. Your beliefs about money shape your future. The thoughts you allow in your mind become the invisible walls that either hold you back or push you forward. Your mindset creates your results. Your habits and discipline build your skills. And your action, your willingness to do, to try, to fail, and to keep moving, turns knowledge into income. Too many people chase money blindly, hoping it will solve their problems or bring happiness. But money alone cannot change who you are. The real path to wealth and fulfillment is to build yourself first. Grow your skills, improve your habits, strengthen your discipline, and expand your knowledge. Focus on becoming someone who creates value, someone who solves problems, serves others, and contributes meaningfully to the world. Consistency is the bridge between dreams and reality. Small, repeated actions, even when invisible at first, compound into massive results over time. The moment you commit to growth, money stops being the goal. It becomes a natural byproduct, a reward for your effort, your usefulness, and your contribution. This is the voice of English speaking to you. If you want to grow your English, your skills, and your life, stay connected. Engage with content that challenges you. Learn daily. Practice relentlessly. Like, share, and follow for more stories that expand your mindset and help you take control of your growth. Your journey to financial and personal growth begins with one decision: to challenge the beliefs that limit you, to invest in yourself relentlessly, and to act courageously even when fear whispers not yet. Every small step matters. Every choice to improve, to learn, and to contribute compounds into your future success. Start today. Do not wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect mentor. The only moment that truly matters is now. Decide to grow. Decide to serve. Decide to take action. Build value and watch as the income, opportunities, and results naturally follow.